Oh, we have gone live. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another live stream. And for those of you that are watching it at your leisure, welcome anyway. But we're always here at 8 p.m. on a Thursday night. So if you're watching this on a Sunday night, welcome anyway. Anyway, hope everyone is well. I've just got to do the usual reducing so I can see what I'm doing. Right, there we go. So, been an interesting week. I've a bit mixed bag this week as far as shows go. I had another 1,255 people watch us in the last few days. And your top three this week, coming at number 3 was 65 views. We have the live Bruce Springsteen. Hang on, I've got something in my pocket that someone wants. There we go. I'll keep him quiet. Coming at number 2 from Tuesday, the Jeff Beck tribute, 70 views. And from Wednesday, there's the top one is Alan Parsons Project with 83 views. Straight in there. Enjoyable one that was for me. So in the last 28 days, good evening, Ralph. 4,731 views, 14 new subscribers in the month. So if you're one of them new subscribers, thank you very much. What have you been watching in the last month? Well, coming in at number 3, we have the first Mixing It Up when we did Martin Birch, 86 views. Coming in at number 2, Nick Cave in the Bad Seas, 107, but still reigning in the 28-day chart is David Lee Roth with 121 views. Since it all started, we have now had 127,952 views. Incredible. We have now got 621 subscribers. No change in the top 3, Jethro Tull, Derek Wiggs, and Status Quo. Status Quo is now up to 6,321 views. Good afternoon, Mick. Hope the weather's better than it is here in the UK. It's freezing here. Last week's Battle of the Debuts. Again, you went against my me. You went for Slayer. Tonight, I think it may be a more closer one. We've got David Bowie. No, I'm not, Ralph. It's very simple. Going back to what we got, Elton John's Empty Sky and David Bowie's self-titled debut albums. Once again, we've lost some people in music. Good evening, Stephen. 10th, after we lost another person on the 10th of January, we lost Frank Wyatt of Happy the Man. But we don't know how old he was because there's no date of birth. And I think the shock one this week has been on the 12th. Lisa Presley, 54. Did anyone see her at that awards ceremony 2 days before she sadly passed? She looked ghastly. Also on the 12th, we lost Robbie Bachman, drummer of Bachman, Turner and Overdrive, Let's Rock, right, Radio Fab 1, Smashy and Nicey. He was 69. That's very sad. But we can thank them for their contribution to the music they have given us and Lisa Presley just for being Elvis Presley's daughter. I mean, what I found out today that she obviously she's been buried with Elvis and her son, who sadly passed. So, it's all sad. Anyway, that's what's happened last week. What's happening this week? Well, on Saturday, it's the return of the Skinner and McCook. We're back on Saturday, and we'll be doing our number one albums of the 1970s. Yes, good evening, Richard. Just saying, we're back on Saturday. The dynamic duo are back. Looking forward to Saturday. The number one albums should be a good show, as it usually is when Richard and I get together. So next week's schedule. Album ranking on Monday. We start a new story. Good evening, David. And we're starting a new one. It's John Mitchell, the multi-talented guitarist group. I think this guy at the moment must be in about 3 or 4 different bands. But we're starting off with the first one that he was in, called The Urbane, a band that I really do like. Only 2 albums, but they are very good albums. Classic album review next week. We're going to do a bit of Frank Zappa. And we're going to have a look at his Hot Rats album. One of the very first ones, but a very big album for him. Tuesday's album ranking is a continuation of the very popular Alan Parsons Project. Everyone has been saying how much they've enjoyed it. So on Tuesday, we're going to look at the solo albums of Alan Parsons. And talking of Alan Parsons, we have added a video to in the camera's view, and it's Alan Parsons in Tel Aviv, and I watched it last night, and it's absolutely brilliant. Yes, about that Zappa, David, is about 33 minutes long, but it's got some incredible stuff on it. Retro ranking next week. Well, we're going back to my childhood and a band that was very popular in our house with people, and it's the New Seekers. Not so long ago we did the Seekers, so I thought, well, I've got to do the New Seekers, so we're going to have a look at the New Seekers and my favorite songs from that band. Wednesday marathon, we have got a Wednesday marathon next week. We'll be going to have a look at another request. Lots of requests next week. We're going to look at the rock band Green Day, a band that I knew a little bit about. I thought you would, Richard. So we're going to do Green Day. Now, next week, Thursday, Battle of the Debuts. We've got 2 bands that have started off at the same time. One in America, one in the UK. One was bigger in the British band was big in the United States at the time. We're going to look at Vanilla Fudge and Deep Purple. Looking forward to that one. Pick and mix next week. We're going to go for a trip down memory lane, which means we're going to be looking at the UK top 10 of the 26th of January, 1961. Good year, some good songs. Friday's live album ranking next week. One of my favorite bands from America, Extreme. Looking at their live albums. And we've also got a nearly new album. And the reason I've left this one is because the second part of this album comes out in a couple of weeks' time. And that's the new Smashing Pumpkins. They're bringing out 3 albums. They brought out one last year called Autumn Act 1. Act 2 is out on the 27th of January. So we're going to have a look at this so it's fresh in our minds. Also, we've got a one-off album, continue on from the Strawbs. Now, you remember I said that we'll be looking at that album that Sandy Denny did with the Strawbs. So that's called All Our Own Work. It's a fabulous little album. So I shall be reviewing that. Fuck, you started already. Well, let's have a look at the work in progress then. See the things you're all asking for and see where we are with them. James Bond, we're up to 16 of the 25. So this week it'll be A License to Kill to watch. Wishbone Ash is coming on nicely. I got down to the 2 techno albums today, so that didn't take long to listen to. So we're up to 20 of the 24. Gary Newman's coming on and on nicely, 11 of the 19. David Bowie, nearly halfway through now, 12 of the 26. Had a bit of a Van de Graaff generator week this week. 4 of 13. 2 of the 7 of the Cause. Listen to 3 King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard this week. 3 of 20. Ash, 4 of the 8. Godley and Creme, 3 of the 7. Obviously, I've had a bit of a Jeff Beck week. Listened to the first 2 albums again. Love that. So we're up to 2 of the 14. What? And ones that we've pulled out of the laundry list this week. We have pulled out Temperance Movement, Dave Brock, Nick Turner, Life Signs, Kepler 10 and the Script, and ones that we've completed this week. Focus, Renaissance, and Porter's Head. So lots going on. Rocky's barking at the traffic. I haven't pulled the thing down. You can see where our front door is. You can see the main road. It's a bit further up, but you can see the lights going up and down, and he barks at the traffic. Right, let's have a look. Idea for RTO short video, Music Detective. Adam Blanc, does Joanna Newsom sing like Ellie King? No, not next week. I'm listening to them at the moment, Zeb, and good evening. Yeah, it'll be a little while before Van de Graaff Generator. I have listened to Porn Hearts today, though, which is one of my favourite tracks by Van de Graaff Generator on. But yeah, Van de Graaff Generator are going to be coming up sometime later in the year. As we do this week, we finished the Gong. And I've really enjoyed doing that, and I've learned a bit more about music, Gong style. Yes, it is probably one of my favourite albums. Yeah, Kepler 10 and Life Signs. Were they your requests, Stephen? Because Dave is trying to keep track of who's requested what. Yeah, Hamill's. Yeah, I've sort of got that on the back burners there, but yeah, that'll probably come up. You know how we do things on the channel. We don't just, if anyone does some offshoots, we usually do the offshoots. Like next week, we're doing Alan Parsons' solo albums, which were as good as the project stuff. Tough. It was tough ranking that one is. Yeah, with that's all coming up. Started to put together some more retro rankings that are a little bit off the normal thing. I put together a children's. We're going to do 2 children's ones from our childhood. What we were talking about not so long ago on the live stream. One of them is going to be now. I'm going to call it Junior Choice. Now, here in England, when I was growing up, think on a Saturday and Sunday, Ed Stewart used to do a thing called Junior's Choice. And it was kids ringing out, sending in letters in them days because we didn't have texts and telephones and all that, asking for requests for their birthdays or their mums or birthdays. And I've picked some of the songs that were quite popular on Junior Choice. So I've got 20 songs for that. We are going to do children's TV themes because we're going to do a thing on TV themes as a general thing. We're going to do split it into categories. We're going to do like sci-fi, cops, comedies. So we've got lots of stuff on that side of it. Can't remember what this one's called. It's got a funny name. This is a Scottish drink. It's a pale ale, and it's quite nice. Yes, that was so. Yes, so everything, and we're going to do a thing in March, because it's coming up to the anniversary, the 5th anniversary of Ken Dodd's passing. Now, Ken Dodd is such a funny man, and I've got something really, really special in commemoration of the anniversary of Ken Dodd's passing. I'm not going to tell you much about it, but Dave knows about it because we were talking about it the other week. So I've got something really special for Ken Dodd's birthday. Not birthdays, anniversary of his death. What I got on the retro ranking for you? If I move that over there and do that, I can pull up the playlists I've got on Spotify. Now, if you've got my Spotify link is there, and if you go into there, you'll see the playlist. You'll be able to see which ones are coming up if you really want to know. Obviously, we've got some birthdays coming up next month. Got a really special birthday in March of someone that's nearly famous, as I say. Things we've got some Deep Purple and album songs coming up for you. What else is looking pretty interesting? Yeah, there we go. Dave's just put my Spotify up. I've got some. I'm still working on a one-hit wonder. I've got some not in the list at the moment, but I've got more of soundtrack, composers. We've got John Williams coming up. There'll be Hans Zimmer in there. So, as I said, we are going to be mixing up a little bit more in retro ranking. We're going to do worst songs of bands as well, just for a little bit of fun. We've got one coming up in February. I might get lots of people throwing things at me and generally giving me a hard time, but hey ho, I don't care. It's a bit of fun. That's all it is. When I do these worst things, it's not a serious thing. It's just a little bit of fun. Have you finished barking at the traffic? Wait, Mister Rocky, there's traffic. I'm just going to pull the blind down because he'll be doing it all night. Yeah, that's soft. Come here then. Oh dear. Yeah, it's quite funny watching him. He's staring at this thing, just barking at the lights. I think he thinks everybody's coming in. Oh yes, and I forgot about Ennio Morricone. Yeah. So, what does anything people want to know. Let's have a look, see if I've missed anything. Yeah, going back to Richard and his new Seekers. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Because there was one album that was kept being played in our house. I think it was my mum's album, as this live album that she'd got. That's really, really good. Well, I think half of the songs on that are probably going to be in my top 10 because it was an album that was kept being played in our house. Yeah, so things are looking interesting in the laundry list now. We're trying to sort out and get ones that have been in there a little while up to the top. Yeah, Dave's been doing a lot of work on that because oh yes, of course I can, Richard. No problem. No problem, I can do that. What's that one, David? What album's that? He's not daft. Even though I've pulled the blind down, he knows there's something up there. I found out something today for you Genesis fans. Apparently, they are releasing in March a live album, a live box set. Stuff done on John Peel. And then there's bits, some concerts, some Nebworth Park in 78, Lyceum in 80, bits from the Wembley gig, and some tracks featuring Ray Wilson. I've had a look at the set list, what's on there, and I don't think I'll be buying it because I have actually got some of the concerts they've used.